to the Pastor Chira Show. I'm Pastor Chira, and today we launch. We launch into new mindset. We launch into new territory. We launch into new relationships. Are you ready to launch out? Come on and launch out with me as we go into this conversation today. So, today I am joined by one of our favorite guests, and that is none other than Elder Crystal Knight. And every time she is on the show, she brings a wealth of knowledge. She brings a wealth of wisdom. She brings so much to the table. Do y'all see this? Y'all see this right now? Yes. But she brings so much when she comes, and there's just so much that she brings. And I just want to say welcome. Welcome back to the Pastor Chira Show. But look, y'all, we not, she's here with me. She is here with me. Yep. And I want to thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Yes, we're so excited. Yes. So, for those that don't know who you are, can you just introduce yourself to the viewing audience on today?
Well, hello, everybody. It's good to be here. Glad to be back.
Yeah.
And so for those that don't know me, I'm Crystal Knight. Mm-hmm. I am an ordained elder. You can call me a ministry servant, a worshiper. Yes. But at the end of the day, I'm a mom to a wonderful, I can't call her baby girl anymore, but my daughter, Caitlin Renee. Yes. And so I'm just glad to be here.
Yes, and we're glad to have you here. And she is still your baby girl. She always will be. She always will be, yes. But you have endeavored on so many things since the last time you were on and we spoke. So can you just tell us about a couple of the things that you are working on and that you're doing and that you've done?
Okay.
Because you've been a little busy. Just a little
snapshot.
Yes.
All right. So I really thank God for the journey that I'm on now. And I've been blessed and fortunate that I was able to put together a nonprofit organization. Yes. And it started with an idea. We thank God for that idea. Yes. And we thank God for the name. Mm-hmm. And I had to give credit to a gentleman named by Maurice. And Maurice, him and I were working together to formulate a soup kitchen.
Right.
And so with that came Tzekakah House. That's the name, meaning House of Charity. So that's the nonprofit. And we've been doing some great things. So you got to stay tuned and keep up because we're moving. Mm-hmm. And then I have a special project coming out. So that music project that's been laying dormant for years. So we're now doing something. And I will say this, that the single is coming out in January. So stay tuned. Yes.
Wait.
You heard it.
Wait, a single is
coming out. Finally.
Wow. We have new music. So y'all, she's coming back, right? Because we gotta release it here on the Pastor Chira Show. But that is amazing. So you really are, you're so busy these days. And so with Tzekakah House, let's go back to that.
Okay.
Because we'll get the music when the music comes. But with Tzekakah House, so you said that it's been something that you've been working on for a while. And you gave us a name and you let us know what it means. But where does it come from for you? Where did Tzekakah come from for you?
So for those that don't know, so Tzekakah House means House of Charity. Mm-hmm. And with that, it means that what God gives to us, again, is He trusts us to be able to share of our resources, our time, everything that he's blessed us with to help others. And I've been serving, I mean, it is what it is. That's all I know to do. I have a heart for people. I have a heart to help people. And because of that, for all the work that has been done down through the years, we're now able to tie it and put it together with the nonprofit. And that's what we do, whether it's those who've been displaced, whether loss of a job, loss of a home, whether it's those that just say, Crystal, I need help with resources. You know, maybe I want to buy a home. I don't know what to do. So we're able to channel those needed resources and connect the resources with the people so they're able to become self-sufficient. Yeah.
Self-sufficiency.
Self-sufficient, yeah.
Self-sufficiency. And that is so key, especially today. People being able to be self-sufficient and work on different things and do different things. Because a lot, especially in the past couple of years, right?
Yeah.
We've come into a place of losing.
Yeah.
There's been a great loss that has happened. And, you know, people have been looking for ways to recoup their loss. But we've also gone into different places spiritually, emotionally, naturally, physically, in this time.
Right.
Like we have lost, but we've also lost.
Yeah.
And even in this time of loss, you were able to gain. But what did that look like for you in all of, because I know we've both lost some people in this time.
Yeah.
But you were also able to gain. How were you able to recoup and gain in the midst of a time of loss?
I think when we look at the period that we're in now, we all know we're going through this pandemic, but it's not just a pandemic, it's all those that we lost, whether it been friends, family, for some people, loss of jobs, loss of hope, anxiety levels are at an all-time high, emotionally, everybody's just all out of sorts. So this is like really a lot. And most people, you would think like, oh my God, how can anything good come out of this? How can anything be birthed out of this? But I believe that even though things as bad as they are that happen out of it, something can always come out of that. And life has a way of pulling or extracting from us things that have been dormant for so long. And when you start tapping into the very the person who you are, and I think we talked about it just in our little sidebar conversations that sometimes, you know, unfavorable circumstances can somehow pull out of you what's needed for you to take the next step.
Right.
You know, and I've been able to do that because I was at a point where I didn't know how I was going to be able to do what I do. Sometimes you just like, how do I move forward? I want to take the step, but I'm afraid to take the step, you know, but things have a way of working itself out, you know, and I think we've been blessed. God has always shown himself faithful. You know, he said, the Bible says, I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. And I don't care what's happening. One thing I will say, God's got us covered, and he always makes a way for us, you know.
He does.
Yeah.
But there are times, when we don't feel like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There are times when we just don't. We know in our minds that he's got us covered and that he's always going to take care of us. But we don't always feel it.
Feel it right here.
And we don't always feel it.
Yeah.
And we can't always get through it. Like we can't, it's hard to maneuver. And like you said, like even in this time of loss, there was a gain, right? You were able to produce, you were able to move and get Tzekakah, you know, established and 501c3. Like you were able to do those things in this time. how were you able to do that? Right? Because
I think, at some point when enough is enough, and I think you'll know when you reach that point where you just had enough. For me, I'm going to just tell you a transparent moment. I got tired of seeing everyone else progress or move forward. And I think when you see where you could be if you had just made the move or took the initiative to just start.
Right.
And sometimes it takes that extra push. And I had to ask God. I said, Lord, sometimes I don't know if I'm hearing you. I don't see you. I don't feel you, because you're looking for something tangible.
Right.
But after a while, I just said, Lord, I know there's more, and I don't want to remain here. And for me, I got tired of being in that place.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially when I know there's so much more of me here. And I wanted to know, how can I tap into me with the help of God, because it's Him, and to be able to produce and move forward. And so for me, I got tired. I was just like, no, I can't stay here. I refuse to stay here. But I had to come to the point where enough was enough.
So was the stay here, was the I refuse to stay here, what was the here? Was it I refuse to stay in this place of not moving forward? I refuse to stay in this place of not producing. I refuse to stay in this place of not progressing. I refuse to stay in this place of not. What was the stay?
Yeah.
And like you said, you got tired of seeing others doing and you not doing.
Yeah.
But what did that say? Like, what was it? You got tired of others doing and you not seeing yourself produce because you just knew that there was something more to you? Or was there something else about you? Or was it, shoot, I can do that too?
Yeah.
I mean?
I don't know if you can call it, if there's such a thing as spiritual jealousy, but when you see others that have progressed through what they progressed through, sometimes you get encouragement and you're able to pull that from others, especially when you see the journey that it took from them to get from one point to the next. And when you realize that what others have gone through, sometimes you've gone through it too, or for some of us, maybe worse. But at the same token, I just said, Lord, I don't want to, I know there's more.
Right.
And I want the more. Trust me, I was stuck. I was discouraged. I was frustrated and upset. But I knew I wanted the more.
We want the more. I want the more. And I want to go into wanting the more, but we're going to go into a commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to dig in a little bit about wanting the more, but not feeling like you deserve the more. So we're going to go to a commercial break, and on the other side, we're going to dig in a little deeper. So we will be right back.
You can join us virtually or at the church, located at 458 East Rittenhouse Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
We're back, and we are sitting, and we are having a conversation with Elder Crystal Knight, who is the president and CEO of Tzekakah House. But we went into the commercial and we started talking about wanting more and wanting the more of not just God, but wanting more from ourselves. And can you just go in a little bit more about what you mean by wanting more?
So we were talking earlier about the process and being stuck, especially when you suffered loss, pain.
Yeah.
For many, I know for me, it was a mixture of rejection. It was a whole lot of things. Right. And had I just focused on that and remained in that stuck position, I wouldn't be where I am right now, But sometimes things happen, and when you have had enough, and when what's in you starts tugging at your heart. Yeah. And I believe for a lot of us, when there is more, whether it be a work that you got to do or a service, whatever it may be, when you're called for purpose, I'll put it that way. And I believe for a lot of us, we've been able to push through because the call or the purpose that's on our life was literally, it's been tugging at us. And by way of that, tzedakah, things I've been longing to do that I've been doing and never stopped, but now it's now at another level, or should I say, because before I would do things out of my home, but now I'm operating out of what's now being manifested, so to speak.
Right.
So that's the nonprofit organization, and I think I wanted more because I knew I could reach a greater audience. I could reach more people.
Right.
And so I thank God for that opportunity, but it was a rough journey. Yeah. And I wrote a little something, during a commercial, that the journey we take, sometimes it frustrates our purpose. Yeah. And when your purpose is frustrated, because a lot of people don't want the journey, they don't like the process, whether it be the hurtful times, the frustrating, the failures, whatever you want to call it, whatever your experience might have been.
Right.
Sometimes it's hard to push through all that, and
Yeah, but you're saying it's hard to push through all that. You're saying it's hard to get through all that. But you're the one who's called. You're the one who's anointed. You're the one who has the call of God and the anointing of God and the ministry that He has put on you. So how is it hard for you? How is it hard for us when we're the ones that are the chosen, the called, the elect of God, right? How are we the ones that have to try and figure it out and push through? Because you're just supposed to be able to do it, right?
Well, it sounds easy. Look, I don't care. I don't care what title you hold: CEO, pastor, bishop, vice president, president. When you are functioning in a role, with that comes a cost. You know what I mean? And for a lot of us, the road to get there is not always an easy one. And just because you are in that role doesn't necessarily mean you still don't have that human side of you that feels what it feels.
Human?
Yeah. Well, no, most people don't expect you to be human.
Oh, yeah, no.
But
that ain't. You're supposed to be that.
No, you're not supposed to be that. And then, God forbid, if you go to church and you hold a title, as a leader in some capacity, you are no longer human.
Oh, yeah, no.
That you're now this supernatural person that could overcome no. And, I think about Elijah in 1 Kings, the 19th chapter, and he had his moment where he was just like, enough is enough and I'm tired, and the work that he was called to do was not just for then, but it was to protect and to prevent any compromise situations when it came to God and who he was called to be and the work that he was called to do. You know what I mean? And when you're called to do anything, you're called to protect, you're called to advocate, you're called to heal, you're called to make a difference. And with that is going to come a whole lot of forces coming against you to counteract whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, but what about me? Who's protecting me?
That's a good question.
Who's there for me? Like, who's doing that for me? Because I'm the one that is called and elected and anointed for everyone else. Mm-hmm. But what about me? What about when I get down? Mm-hmm. What about when I get sad? Mm-hmm. What about when I don't feel like I can, but I have to for you? But what about me? I'm still anointed. I'm still called. I'm still purposed. I'm still elected. I still know that I am those things. And I'm still depressed. I'm still down. Mm-hmm. I'm still sad. What about me?
But you know what? I guess, sorry if I say Chira.
You're fine.
Okay.
You're fine.
I think we often confuse, just because you're called doesn't mean that you should self-sabotage or self-sacrifice where you've neglected who you are as a person, your feelings, your emotions, because they're very much real.
That's right.
And I think sometimes you can lose yourself, and I'm probably going a whole total left. You can lose yourself so much in the call that you forget you're still human. And which is why a lot of us are being wiped out. Yeah. And a lot of us are dying inwardly, if not physically, which leads to the natural death. Yeah. Because we don't take care of ourselves, and we're told to bury that because you're called, you got to be everything to everybody else, but you can't be who you are for you.
For me.
For you.
Yeah.
And when you reach that point, you need to really take a break and say, you know what, I need a moment.
I need a moment.
And Elijah, he needed a moment. He went under that tree as much as he wanted to give up, but he needed a moment. Mm-hmm. And God recognized that. Yeah. And he sent what he needed to help him, knowing the journey that lied ahead. Yeah. But he also allowed him to have that moment.
Right.
And I believe a lot of us don't allow ourselves to have that moment. We don't take the breath. We don't stop and breathe. We don't pause. Right. We don't ask for help. Right. You know, and you were not meant to carry and do this all alone. You know what I mean? Right. And that's why he blesses us with people. I don't care if it's your mom. You know, if you're having a moment, I grab my dog. Right. Like, let me tell you. Yes. I mean, it's, you find comfort. Yes. Somehow, you know what I mean? If it's a song, I don't know what it is, but you have to protect you and who you are as a person, because you're no good to nobody or to the work or to the call if you don't take care of yourself.
We're not taking care of ourselves.
And I think we just need to ask for help.
Right, but I can't ask for help because that's showing my
vulnerability.
Weakness. That's showing my vulnerability, right? I'm supposed to be stronger than that, right? I'm not supposed to show these things, and you're better than that. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. Our leaders are telling us this. Yeah. Our leaders are telling us not to have these moments, not to have these conversations, not to show yourself. Our leaders, but they're dying.
They are.
You know what I'm saying? They're missing it on the inside. They haven't even shown, they haven't shown themselves to themselves in order to be healed of God.
Yeah. That's kind of deep. I mean, but at what point do you sacrifice who you are just to mask or to be strong? Because at the end of the day, you know, at some point you're going to have a breakdown or a meltdown, and that's what a lot of people go through. You know what I mean?
And they do.
Yeah.
But don't realize it. Yeah. Chris, there are so many hurting leaders out here who are masking their hurt. And they're masking it and not going for help.
Yeah.
But you're helping everybody else.
But you know what? And I honestly believe that people hold on to that because that's their crutch. If you took that crutch away, then they will really fall apart. And it's crazy that as chaotic things may be, sometimes people have gotten so used to functioning in their dysfunction.
Yes.
And they lean on that crutch that forces them to keep it together, even though they're masking everything. But that's what's keeping them alive, or that's giving them what they need to keep it moving, even though inwardly they're still.
That's your passion?
Yeah. And
passion is hurt?
I don't even think it's a passion. I just believe it's a crutch. I believe that's what's holding them together until they're able to confront and deal with what's really going on here.
But are we really operating in the things of God if we are holding on to these crutches?
Leading while broken? Because, and I think if that wasn't there, if the preaching wasn't there, the pulpit, the podium, going to work every day, if that was taken away, like the pandemic, when everything was shut down, it forced people to do what they have not been doing so long. It allowed for self-reflection.
Yeah.
It allowed you to stop and say, oh my God, this is what family is all about. We got so busy being busy, and that became our normal.
Right. And this is a phenomenal conversation, but we're out of time, but I want to ask that we continue this conversation because I think that we need to dig in some of these things as a segment that we just come and we sit and we talk once a month, so that the people can really get these things. But real quick, where can the people be in touch with you?
So for those that are interested, especially with the nonprofit, you can go to the website at tzekakah.startsites.org, tzekakah.startsites.org, or you can reach us by email at tzekakahhouseinc@gmail.com.
I want to say thank you so very much
You're welcome.
for joining us today. And we are going to continue in our segment once a month. Yes. So that we can, did I slip that in there?
She slipped it in there.
I slipped it in there, yeah. So, but I thank you, I do. I thank you so much. And I want each and every one of you to continue to be with us. And please, please, don't be anointed and broken. Don't be anointed and depressed. We're here to help one another because we need to help one another. I'm Pastor Chira. This is the Pastor Chira Show, and we will see you next week. God bless.